and welcome to the LMS show. Thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Drakeford.
Not a problem.
And thank you, Lenny, for your show, and Sisters Uptown Bookstore.
Hey! Sisters!
Okay, so please tell us a little bit about you, and then we're going to get right into your book.
Okay, well, right now I'm getting ready to get my degree in psychology. I started writing at a very young age because, through the life experiences I've explained, I was more of an introvert to myself. So I wrote a lot to keep myself occupied. And as I got older, I've always been an avid reader. I started reading it at the age of 3 in a book club. I was enrolled in a book club thanks to my mother. And I always wanted to read everything. So I started reading about different subjects. And I was interested in cowboys. I've always had a thing with cowboys because when I went to Puerto Rico at the age of 6, the first cowboy I saw was John Wayne. I didn't understand what he was saying, but I just knew he was on a horse, and it looked interesting. And as I got older, I started learning how history disguises the truth. So that made me dig even more. I'm like, once you show me something, I'm going to keep going and keep digging. I think sometimes I have a problem with being too much of a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? I don't stop going. Once I learn something, I got to find some more. I want to just dissect everything.
Okay, awesome. So tell us, what's the title of your book?
The book is called Black, Wild, and Untamed.
Okay.
It's a fiction book, but it has true meaning in it. There's a lot of things that actually happen, like the Civil War, the reason behind the Civil War, which is why we're here today to talk about the Buffalo Soldier.
Right.
Because the Buffalo Soldier was an integral part of us winning, of the Northern, not us, but the Northern winning the Civil War.
Okay, so what exactly is a Buffalo Soldier?
A Buffalo Soldier basically was a name that was given by the Indians because the blacks were, because of our dark skin color. And because of the fact that they weren't afraid, and like Buffalo, they roamed. See, blacks, we never really had a home of our own. We had to keep roaming from wherever we were. If you left a plantation, you got away, most likely you had to live with the Indians. So that was the nickname. It was called the Black Buffalo Soldiers. Okay. And the thing about it, they're all derivatives of the black cowboys. Like, have you ever heard of this lady, like Calamity Jane?
Yes.
Okay. Calamity Jane is one that they always black about, oh, this woman was all this, she was this. They don't want to tell you about Stagecoach Mary.
Who was Stagecoach Mary?
Stagecoach Mary was an African-American woman, big bone, that used to get drunk and knock men out. And she would, that's why they call it, and she robbed stagecoaches. And that's what she did. And she would get drunk. So imagine a woman in a while was sitting there getting drunk, telling other men that she's going to knock them out, and would bet them. And nobody wanted to mess with her. After a few first fights, nobody really wanted to know. They knew she was serious.
Wow. Okay, that is a strong black woman.
Very strong, but it's all, I think in our culture we've always seemed to ignore certain things that made us who we are today. And right now, with the soldiers, everything, that's what, because I was in the military myself. And so everything that we've done, it always came, there was others that set the path for us, there was others that set the way for us. You know what I'm saying? The Django that's what, when Quentin Tarantino made Django, that's what he was going on, was a black Buffalo Soldier and a black cowboy that were present in the West, which the West will still try to deny.
Really? Okay, so what other hidden gems have you found out in your research of your book?
Well, the African Americans, we were really the ones who did all the wrestling. Because what happened was, okay, let me back it up. The first thing, we were good wrestlers, we were also good bronco riders. To get there and tie a bull down is not easy. So you didn't think that the masters would send themselves or their family members to do it.
Of course not.
They would send the slaves to do it. And the slaves, because they knew they had to do it, they started getting to the point where they got good at it. And that's how some of these famous cowboys, they were taught by black. They would send somebody black to do it, like Roy Rogers, so forth. They learned from black people. Now, another thing, the myth is that Lincoln freed the slaves, quote unquote, for the war. That's a myth. He didn't want to free the slaves. He had no choice because he was losing so many, because the Confederate soldiers, they were real, they were very aggressive. And when they caught their prisoners, they should try to chop their ear off. So he needed somebody that wasn't intimidating. So why not get people that want to fight for their freedom anyway? They didn't like the South, so that's why. And so this is how we got all so the cowboys, the black cowboys, the Buffalo Soldiers, it's all wrapped into one. Just like today we have these here, like the Tuskegee Airmen. They all derivatives of black cowboys anyway, because they all fought for something. They stood for something. Unlike today when we have blacks that are killing each other over senselessness.
Right, things that don't even have anything to do with them.
It's a shame, and I try to empower the youth But you know, right now, if it's not digital or it's not on the phone, they don't want to look at it. But you know, my job is to try to teach people much. I try to get them all to the book.
All right, so we're going to look forward to that release of your book and be able to find more unsung heroes and get more into our history about, you know, empowering Black people, our youth. I was actually thinking about that this morning, especially when it comes to, you know, gang violence, that, you know, they're not exposed to anything other than their neighborhood. So we got to, you know, go back to our history, where we came from, get that pride back. So that way we can empower ourselves and to look for greater and bigger things and be bigger than what we just see in front of us. So I really appreciate you, and we're going to turn it right back to Lenny and the rest of the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, give it up.
Wow, that was a nice. You enjoyed the interview, Cassandra?
Oh, I did, Mr. Matthews. I really did. And the LMS show is making my day.
And you know about the Cowboys, and you know, it's like sometimes we don't feel like we don't contribute to nothing.
Well, you know, they don't want you to think that you contribute. The best way to keep us ignorant is if we don't read, we don't study ourselves. If you listen to everything they put in the history books, you're going to be as dumb as them. You see what's going on right now in our political climate, but we don't want to get into that. We're not going to get into that, but we see what's going on now. And our youth right now, they have no pride. And you know, I'm a very strong advocate for teaching your child at home. I believe that when they took out the spare the rod, spoil the child, it tells you that in the Bible. Once they stopped doing that our children just went amok. They ran with it.
Well, I don't want to sound like this. I don't want to sound like my conservative friends or nobody like that. But also, too, when you have these so-called folks who sit back here and say, oh, well, you don't need that. You know, they want to create a job for themselves. that's what that at, you know. But it starts in the home. And sometimes some people don't have that kind of background, you know, for that to start in the home.
You know, it also starts in our community, because it takes a community to raise you. I remember when I was young, there was this old gentleman named Mr. Boone. He was a Tuskegee Airman. I didn't find out until after he was dead. He died. And I knew not to let Mr. Boone catch me doing anything wrong. I knew better. And I was, every time he used to come down the block, I'd be like, there go Mr. Boone, we straighten up. And right now in our communities, no one is trying to shepherd you. The kids, the parents, if you try to chastise a child, they tell you what you're doing talking about child.
But you know, also too, we have, which is sad, we have children, and a lot of people not talking about this, children raising children.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that, you know. Exactly. I see that, you know, because they have, you know, they don't have too much manners. Well, unfortunately, the kids don't have too much manners, then you're going to end up paying for that. You say, well, that's their problem. Yeah, you're going to pay for it, one way or the other. I like what you're doing. The book, this book, is still in stages, right?
Well, it's in the final stages right now.
Okay, so
what I am doing right now is like certain things with this new technology. The print was messed up, so I had to redo the print, and the print is almost finished. It should be hopefully by the end of September.
Okay, so we'll bring you, we'll bring you back on board, and we'll talk about your book.
All right, I appreciate it, Mr. Man. It's a pleasure.
Let's give it up to Mr. Bird for everybody.
Yeah. Very good.
And we're back. Cassandra, you mentioned to me about an organization. Tell us about this organization.
Well, Staten Island is a forgotten borough. It's also, of all the 5 boroughs, it is the smallest, but it's also culturally rich, which a lot of people don't know that. Recently become involved with the Sandy Ground Historical Society, which is located on the south shore of Staten Island in Rossville.
That's way down there, right?
Oh, way down in the south, literally the other side of Staten Island, just before you hit Jersey.
No, wait a minute, on the other side there, right?
Say it again.
On the other side here, right?
Yeah, it's 1538 Woodrow Road, the end of Staten Island. And what it is that it was the first free Black community after slavery was abolished. So it's very exciting. There's a lot of rich history about how the community was established, about the businesses that were owned. At one time there was about over 200 Black families that were in that community. And unfortunately, due to time and unforeseen circumstances and some other circumstances, the community has dwindled down. But we're still thriving, and we're still educating people about our history.
How long you been involved with it?
About a year.
Okay.
It's been an eye-opener. I am a native Staten Islander. And
Yes, yeah.
and it was
I go to Staten Island and see my doo-wop shows. They don't play in no other place no more. No, you know, go to Staten Island, you know.
Right, yes, our St. Joe's Theater. It's really great that they fixed that up.
Yes.
But it's just been, it's a wonderful nonprofit organization. We just got our website back up. We're looking for people to come out, take tours, support us. We've been educating the public, usually with quilting. Mm-hmm. That was something that was done by slaves back in that time. We have one of our freedom sleeves where you can actually see the way how to find the Underground Railroad, so that way you can find your way north to be able to escape. So there's a very interesting story behind that you'll learn when you take one of the tours.
You know, we like to do in the near future. Well, I got to make sure this is right. We would like to maybe do a show from out there.
That would be fantastic. We would welcome that so much.
Yeah, we have to do a show from out there. I think it's so important. About our heritage and everything.
Yes.
I go to Staten Island. But it's not just about the beach and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And those were the days. And I would leave it at that. I like what you're doing, and as I said before, we talk more about it, and if I can't bring the crew out there, I'll bring myself out there.
Yes, please. We're actually going to be having a festival coming in August 18th, our Standing Ground Day. So when you look at the website, you'll get more information about it. So come on down, bring the family, friends.
Okay, but you run it every year, right?
It is every year. Usually it's in June, but this year we had to postpone it to August.
Okay,
but we keep all the information on the website.
Okay, all right. I'd like to thank you so much. I'd like to thank everyone for watching the LMS show. And, we'll see you soon. Take it down. Hey! Take it down. And welcome to the LMS show. My name is Lenny Matthews. Give yourselves a big hand. Hey! Look at that, sisters, everybody. Sisters and police. I meet so many interesting, book authors that come through sisters. I'm not plugging sisters on there to get this straight now. But I am, yes and no. But we a lot of people who write books, and everybody got a book in them. This particular topic, it's something that is suffered by a lot of people in America today. Stuttering, especially with young kids, and especially young kids going to school, and I'm growing up, kids can be very, very, very vicious, and sometimes that can hang on to you the rest of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like for you to meet Wet Oliver Speaks, and I'd like for you to meet the young lady. What's your name, my friend?
Kimberly.
Say it out loud, everybody.
Kimberly Garvin. I co-authored When Oliver Speaks with my son, Seti Quicks.
Give her a big hand, everybody. Now, with your son.
Yes, with my son.
How old is your son?
My son is 16 now.
16?
Yeah.
What gave you an idea for this book?
It was him. My son is 16 years old. He is a person who stutters, and he stuttered for as long as he could speak. At 8, he was bullied for his speech, and at 9, he created the nonprofit organization Let Me Finish with 3 L's, and he advocates for young people who stutter. And so on a train ride in the city, he leaned over to me at 14 and said, "Can we write a book?"
Oh.
And, I
not playing video games, right?
No. Can I write a book? You can do anything.
Yes, you can.
Well, what do you want to write this book about? I said, I want to write a children's book about a brown boy who stutters, because there are no brown children protagonists in stories, and there isn't a book that talks about stuttering, and so I want to write a book. And so on the train, I pulled out my phone and I started taking the notes in my phone, and by the time we got to Penn Station, we had a book.
What? You had a book?
We had a book.
Y'all had a book in you. Oh, give her a big hand. Did he ever tell you like the experiences that how, you know, like when he gone through it in school?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Let Me Finish started as a Facebook page, and so he would, I would type for him because he was, 9 and kind of like a slow, he's a hunt and pecker. But he would tell me about his day, and I would type about it, and he would let the Facebook world know like what it was like to be a person who stutters. And so if you were the waitress who finished his order, if you were the pizza delivery man who didn't,
well, what happened to the waitress order? What the waitress order? What happened there?
Well, oftentimes when people, like when you're interacting with people who stutter, it seems quite natural, I guess, to finish the person's sentence. And so if you finished his sentences, he would talk about you. If you didn't let him finish, he would talk about you. If you hung up on him on the phone when he was trying to place an order, he would talk about you.
Because I'm a restaurant freak. What did the waitress rush him or what?
There are a number of things that people do. I mean, think about it. Just think about it. I guess no one wants to wait. No one, like I guess the level of patience that people have today for people in general is kind of at an all-time low. And so if my son is trying to order a pepperoni pizza and he's trying to get out pepperoni because he's stuck on it, and she interjects and says pepperoni, that's disrespectful, because you don't do that to a person who's fluent.
Yeah, because sometimes, like my son have a thing, sometimes I'll take him to the restaurants and they have a thing called, flipping tables, because they won't flip that table to the next person.
Oh.
They sit back, okay, here, you get the menu, come around there, you get the menu, you alright? Here's the check, get out of here. That happened to me at a place over in Brooklyn. Oh, this and Peter will mention this guy's name when there because why should I get this pound of free love? And they shut the restaurant down.
Kick him to the curb too.
Huh? Yeah, kick him to the curb too. That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, go back.
No, but that, it's just, they're just, I guess, communication rules that people aren't familiar with when engaging with a person who stutters. And it's just a matter of, being respectful and being courteous. And oftentimes people aren't.
Isn't that like a disability in a sense?
I guess you can call it a disability, but we've never treated it as a disability. In fact, Sadiq just was like running an ad, so to speak, and said that his stutter was his superpower, and so what's yours? And oftentimes children ask him, if you could take your stutter away, would you? And, he's, definitively no. He would.
You have a lot of famous people, and they admit in public that they stutter.
Right. And I wouldn't be surprised. Stuttering is genetic, and so I am a person who stutters. Yeah. My uncle stuttered. Yes. It's typically skips a generation.
Yes.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if the environment kind of allowed itself that those famous people who are now fluent, I wouldn't be surprised if they had pockets of disfluency. Because as fluent as I am, I'm still a person who stutters, and so there are moments when I am disfluent.
Take a look at this book here.
It's a pretty good book. Giovanni said it's a book that indeed needed to be shared.
It's a book that needs to be shared.
Yeah.
This is that kid. This is your son right here, 13 years old. Look at that. You know, he's 16 now, right?
Now he's 16.
16 now. Look at that young brother doing something for himself. Got a good mama to help him out.
Well,
And you're a professional speaker too, right?
that's what they said.
Well, okay. And you hold a degree in mass communication from Fairleigh Dickinson. And when you're not, you know, writing and reading and spending time with friends and family, and you appear regularly on guests, especially guests on radio shows around the country. What radio show you been on?
Man, I can't even think of. I don't even. We were in Princeton. We've been in college radio. He's done.
This is interesting. I'm looking at this book. Oliver, let me see. The one thing that Oliver doesn't enjoy is speaking. You know, sometimes you know, when you speak, you know, sometimes you get kind of nervous. You know, like sometimes I'll call, you know, the professor here on the phone, and I'll tell him the day before, I told Corey, and you know, I'm kind of nervous. And, you know, sometimes you don't know, you know, sometimes you're conscious of things too, right?
What do you mean conscious?
I mean, like you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Well, no, I don't know that has anything to do with a person who stutters. Their anxiety mostly comes from what the listener's perception of them speaking is. So it's not that they're nervous about what it is they have to say. It's not that they don't know what they want to say. They're more, like I said, their anxiety stems from the reaction of others. So if you break eye contact, then now you've signaled to them in some way that what they have to say isn't important.
How's your son doing with his nonprofit organization?
Oh, he's doing really well.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually planning a book bag drive.
Oh, okay. That's right. Going back to school. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to give the book away, but I think folks should. I'm not saying buy them on the air, but we said we want people to read this book, especially as a children's book. How old for children? What age?
Kindergarten at first, you could do it as a read aloud. Second to fifth, it's an independent read. Funny story. My girlfriend's daughter they took a picture of her reading the book, and I asked if she read it because it's that like we put the stutter in the book, and so when kids read it, like they're reading the stutter, and so I said I see the picture, was she reading it with the stutter, and they were like, yeah, like they, she thought it was pretty cool. She never heard a person who stutters or had seen a stutter to be able to identify what one was. And so if nothing else, I mean, like your kids are being exposed to, a topic that they may be unfamiliar with, and through Oliver's eyes and experiences, they're learning acceptance and tolerance for things much larger than speech at some point.
I would like to thank you very much for joining me today on the LMS show. Also, too, you do other things too, right?
Yeah, but we're not talking about
We're
that.
talking about, no, we're talking about another day.
Another day. This is all about Oliver.
All about Oliver.
All about
Oliver. Right here. We thank you so much.
So you want to tell them where they can get the book?
Well, we can't.
We can't do that?
No, because it's on the public access channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
search for it.
Search for it. That's what that is. Yeah, that's the best way. Search for
Search for it.
And you will find it.
And you will find it.
Seek and you shall find.
Right. And if you spin around and look, you might find it here.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Seek and you shall find.
I thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And your name, please?
Kimberly Garvin.
Kimberly Garvin, everybody. And we'll be right back and take it down.
trouble